What if I told you right now 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck? Not broke people, not unemployed people, doctors, engineers, lawyers, people pulling in six figures and still running out of money every single month. I used to be one of them. I had a good job, a decent salary, but by the 25th of every month, my bank account looked like a desert. I had no idea why. I was doing everything society told me to do. Study hard, get a good job, save a little, repeat. And then, one day, my cousin handed me a beat-up, dog-eared paperback and said, "Mano, just read this. Trust me." That book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, published in 1997. Over 32 million copies sold across 109 countries, translated into 51 languages. And for a reason, it doesn't just teach you about money, it rewires how your brain thinks about money. Welcome to Mano Invest. I'm Mano, and today I'm going to walk you through every major lesson of this book with real data, so that by the end of this video, you will look at your wallet, your job, and your future completely differently. Stay until the end. Lesson 6 alone could change your financial life. Let's go. Picture this. Hawaii, 1960s. A 9-year-old boy named Robert watches his classmates go to the beach club, a place his family can't afford. He's embarrassed, he's frustrated, and he decides he's going to figure out how to make money. So Robert and his best friend, Mike, hatch a plan. They melt down lead toothpaste tubes, yes, toothpaste tubes, and try to make counterfeit nickels. Predictably, it doesn't work. But something important happens. Robert's frustration catches the attention of Mike's dad. And Mike's dad is different. He's not formally educated, he didn't go to college, but he owns businesses across Hawaii, warehouses, a construction company, a chain of convenience stores. Mike's dad, who Robert calls Rich Dad, tells the two boys, "I'll teach you how money works, but I won't pay you to learn. You'll work for free, and your lessons will be worth more than any salary." Now, contrast that with Robert's own father, his biological dad, who Robert calls Poor Dad. Poor Dad had a PhD. He was the head of the Hawaii Department of Education. Brilliant man, hard-working man, but he struggled with money his entire life. He believed in get good grades, get a safe job, save money, work until retirement. Two dads, two completely different money philosophies. One became financially free, one retired broke. That contrast is the entire foundation of this book. Here's the first lesson, and it's going to sting a little. Most of us were raised to believe this. You work hard, you get paid, you repeat. Work, money, spend. Work, money, spend. Kiyosaki calls this the rat race, and in 2025, the data confirms we are all in it. According to a 2024 Lending Club survey, 62% of Americans, including those earning over $100,000 a year, live paycheck to paycheck. The Federal Reserve's 2023 report on economic well-being found that 37% of Americans couldn't cover an unexpected $400 expense without borrowing or selling something. The U.S. personal savings rate in January 2025 stood at just 3.8%, near historic lows. 3.8%, meaning for every $100 people earn, they save less than $4. So, what does Rich Dad teach young Robert? He teaches him that the poor and middle class work for money, but the rich, they make money work for them. Here's what that looks like in real life. A middle-class person wakes up, goes to work, earns $60,000 a year. After taxes, rent, car payments, groceries, subscriptions, there's almost nothing left. Worse, every time they get a raise, their spending goes up too. Kiyosaki calls this lifestyle inflation. Your income goes up, but so does your spending, so you never actually get ahead. Rich Dad had young Robert work at his store for almost nothing, not to exploit him, but to teach him a feeling, the feeling of working and not being rewarded. He wanted Robert to feel the frustration so deeply that Robert would never just settle for a paycheck. He wanted him to think, how can I create something that pays me even when I'm sleeping? That's the mindset shift, and it starts with understanding the difference between two things, assets and liabilities. But I'll get to that in a moment. Kiyosaki says this: the rich acquire assets, the poor and middle class acquire liabilities, but they think they're assets. Read that again, because that one sentence might be the most important financial truth most people never learn in school. So let's break it down simply. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket regularly without you having to show up. Rental income, dividends from stocks, royalties from a book or song, revenue from a business you don't run day to day. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket monthly, relentlessly. Your mortgage, your car loan, your credit card debt, your boat, your timeshare. According to the Federal Reserve's 2024 data, total U.S. household debt reached a record $17.5 trillion. Yes, trillion. Credit card debt alone hit $1.17 trillion in Q3 2024, also a record. The average American carries $6,360 in credit card debt, paying an average APR of over 21% as of early 2025. 21% interest. Imagine having a hole in your wallet where $21 fall out for every $100 that goes in. That's what credit card debt does. And here's where it gets painful. Kiyosaki's most controversial argument: your house is not an asset. Now, before you throw your phone across the room, hear me out. Your house takes money out of your pocket every month. Mortgage, property taxes, maintenance, insurance, HOA fees. Unless you're renting it out for more than all of those, it is a liability dressed up to look like an asset. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mano, but the house appreciates in value. And yes, it often does. The median U.S. home price rose to $407,000 in early 2025. But ask yourself, can you eat your equity? Can you pay your bills with appreciation you can't touch? Rich Dad's point is, until your house is generating income, it's draining you. The lesson is simple. Build your asset column first. Fill it with things that pay you. Then use that income to buy the things you love. This is the lesson that sounds simple, but takes years to truly understand. Kiyosaki says the rich focus on their asset column. Everyone else focuses on their income statement. Translation: your job is not your business. McDonald's is your employer's business. Amazon is your employer's business. You are a resource they use to run their business. Your business, your real business, is building a portfolio of assets outside your job, and you should start that today. Not when you get a raise, not when you have extra money, today. According to the 2024 U.S. Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the median net worth of American families is $192,700, but the mean average net worth is $1.06 million because the ultra-wealthy skew the numbers dramatically upward. The top 10% of Americans own 67% of all U.S. wealth. The bottom 50% own just 2.5%. That gap didn't happen by accident. It happened because the wealthy understand one thing the rest of us don't. You must own things, not just earn things. Rich Dad tells young Robert, keep your day job if you need to, but use every spare dollar to buy assets, real estate, stocks, small businesses, intellectual property. Build the machine that runs without you. By the time Kiyosaki was in his mid-30s, he had enough passive income from real estate and small businesses to cover all his living expenses. His job, if he had one, became optional. That's what Kiyosaki calls financial freedom. Not rich in the flashy sense, just free. The bills are covered whether you show up to work or not. Here's a question I want you to sit with. If you stopped working tomorrow, how many months could you survive purely on income from things you own? If the answer is less than 12 months, this lesson is for you. This is the lesson that makes rich people lean in and working people lean away, but you need to hear it. Taxes were originally created for the wealthy. Then they got extended to everyone else. But here's the part they never taught you in school. The rich play by a different set of tax rules, and it's 100% legal. In 2024, a U.S. employee earning $80,000 a year pays roughly 22% in federal income tax coming out of their paycheck before they see a single dollar. A business owner who earns $80,000 through a corporation can first pay business expenses, car, home office, travel, meals, then pay taxes on what's left, potentially at a lower effective rate. The IRS tax code in 2024 contained over 4 million words. Most of those words are written for people who own businesses, not for employees. Rich Dad tells Kiyosaki, employees earn, get taxed, then spend. The rich earn, spend on legitimate business expenses, then pay taxes on the remainder. That's not cheating. That's financial literacy. That's knowing the rules of the game. Kiyosaki says the 4 key skills that protect wealth inside a corporation are accounting, investing, understanding markets, and knowing the law. He's not saying become a lawyer or a CPA. He's saying learn enough to ask the right questions and surround yourself with people who know the answers. Here's the practical takeaway for you right now. If you have any kind of side income, freelancing, selling on Etsy, tutoring, renting a room on Airbnb, talk to a CPA about setting up an LLC. The tax advantages available to small business owners in America are extraordinary, and most people never use them simply because they don't know they exist. This is my favorite lesson, and it's the most misunderstood one. Kiyosaki says financial intelligence is simply having more options. He's not talking about getting lucky. He's talking about training your mind to see opportunities that other people walk past every single day. Here's a real story from the book. Kiyosaki is walking through a depressed neighborhood in Phoenix during the 1990s real estate crash. Houses that were once worth $100,000 are being sold by panicked sellers for $20,000. Banks were dumping foreclosures. Everyone was terrified. Rich Dad's voice was in his head. The real deal of a lifetime shows up every few years. The question is, will you be ready? Kiyosaki was ready. He bought. He rented. He waited. And when the market recovered, and it always does, those $20,000 properties became $80,000 properties. During the 2008 financial crisis, median home prices dropped nearly 33% from their 2006 peak. By 2021, they had not just recovered, they were 80% higher than the 2006 peak. Investors who bought into the S&P 500 at the absolute bottom of the COVID crash in March 2020 at roughly 2,300 points saw a 100% return by 2021, with the index crossing 4,700. According to J.P. Morgan's 2024 Guide to Retirement, investors who missed just the 10 best trading days between 2003 and 2023 saw their returns cut in half compared to those who stayed invested. The lesson? The rich don't create money from nothing. They create opportunities. They see opportunity in crisis, in change, in things others fear. They train their minds to look for the deal, not the disaster. And here's the uncomfortable truth Kiyosaki drops on us. The reason most people are not rich is because they are afraid of losing. Fear paralyzes people. They keep their money in savings accounts earning 0.5% or even 5% in a high-yield account because they're terrified of losing it. But inflation in 2024 averaged about 3.1% annually. So even a 5% return is only beating inflation by less than 2%. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 averaged a 10.5% annual return over the last 30 years. I'm not telling you to be reckless. I'm telling you to be educated. Because the biggest risk isn't investing. The biggest risk is never starting at all. And we've arrived at lesson 6, the one I told you to stay for. This one changed how I looked at my career completely. Kiyosaki tells a story about a young woman who interviews him after a talk. She's a smart writer, a Stanford graduate with journalism degree. She's frustrated that she's not making much money despite her talent. Kiyosaki gently suggests, maybe take a sales course. She's horrified. I have a Stanford degree. I don't need sales skills. And Kiyosaki says, that's exactly why you'll be working for someone who has less education, but more financial intelligence than you. Harsh? Yes. True? Absolutely. Rich Dad's philosophy was this: don't specialize so narrowly that you become trapped. Don't just be a great engineer. Learn how to sell. Don't just be a great doctor. Learn how money works. Don't just be a great teacher. Learn how to negotiate. LinkedIn's 2024 Workplace Learning Report found that employees who invest time in learning are 47% less likely to be stressed and significantly more likely to be promoted. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median weekly earnings for workers with a bachelor's degree in 2024 was $1,493, but workers with strong sales or entrepreneurial skills routinely earned multiples of that with no formal degree. The 2024 World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report listed critical thinking, creativity, and financial literacy as the top skills employers and the market will demand through 2030. The point is not to quit your job or abandon your profession. The point is to think like a generalist with deep skills. Kiyosaki says, job means just over broke. He's provocative, maybe even extreme, but the spirit of what he's saying is don't limit your earning potential to one skill set in one industry, working for one employer. Learn sales, learn investing, learn a little accounting, learn how to manage people, learn how to communicate. These skills compound over time in a way that a single paycheck never will. Now, Kiyosaki doesn't just give us lessons, he also warns us about the 5 mental obstacles that stop most people from ever becoming financially free. Let's rip through them fast. Obstacle number 5, arrogance. What I don't know doesn't matter. Wrong. Kiyosaki says what you don't know costs you money. Every financial mistake he's seen comes down to someone being too proud to say, I need to learn this. Obstacle number 4, laziness. Not physical laziness, mental laziness. The I'm too busy excuse. Rich Dad says the busiest people are often the laziest because staying busy is a way to avoid dealing with the things that matter, specifically your financial life. Obstacle number 3, bad habits. Most people pay everyone else first, rent, Netflix, car payment, Starbucks, and save what's left. Rich Dad's rule is pay yourself first. Before you pay a single bill, put money into your asset column, even $50 a month. Build the habit. The discipline creates the wealth. According to a 2024 Fidelity study, people who automate their savings and investments accumulate 30 to 40% more wealth over a 20-year period than those who invest manually when they remember to invest. Obstacle number 2, fear. We already talked about this one. Fear of losing money, fear of looking stupid, fear of failing. Kiyosaki's antidote is fail forward. Every financial mistake is a lesson. The wealthy fail fast, learn fast, and move on. And obstacle number 1, cynicism. That only works for other people. The market is rigged. I'll never be rich. Kiyosaki calls this Chicken Little syndrome. The sky is always falling. And every time it does, cynical people sit on the sidelines while others buy. Real talk, during every market crash in U.S. history, 1987, 2001, 2008, 2020, the cynics said it's over. And every single time, the market recovered and went to new highs. The patient, educated investor won every single time. All right, you've made it to the most important part. Let me give you a real actionable game plan, mono invest style. Step 1,
Get financially literate. Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, yes, the whole thing. Then read The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley. Then read The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. 3 books. That's your MBA in real-world finance. Step 2. Audit your assets and liabilities. Right now, tonight, open a spreadsheet. Write down every single thing you own that puts money in your pocket. Then write down everything that takes money out. Be brutally honest. Your car is a liability. Your investment account is an asset. Know the score. Step 3. Start investing. If you haven't started, open a brokerage account today. Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, all free, all beginner-friendly. Start with an index fund that tracks the S&P 500, even $100 a month, invested consistently for 30 years at 10% average return, grows to over $226,000. That's the power of compound interest. If you invested just $500 per month into an S&P 500 index fund starting at age 25, by age 65, you would have over $3.1 million at a 10% annual return. The same $500 a month starting at age 35 yields approximately $1.1 million by age 65. Starting 10 years earlier literally triples your outcome. Time is the most powerful asset you own right now.
Step 4. Build a side income stream. Doesn't have to be glamorous. Sell digital products on Etsy. Start a YouTube channel. Rent a room on Airbnb. Offer freelance services on Fiverr or Upwork. The goal isn't to get rich overnight. The goal is to have one stream of income that isn't your salary. Step 5. Pay yourself first. Every single paycheck, before rent, before food, before Netflix, move a percentage into your investment account. Start at 5%, work up to 15 or 20%. Automate it so you never see the money and never miss it. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Robert Kiyosaki didn't write Rich Dad, Poor Dad to make you feel bad about where you are. He wrote it because he genuinely believes, and I genuinely believe, that financial freedom is available to anyone who is willing to learn, act, and persist. You don't need to come from money. Warren Buffett started investing at age 11 with $114. He had nothing special except knowledge and discipline. You can start today, no matter where you are. In 2025, the average American has every tool they need to build wealth right in their pocket. A smartphone, access to free financial education on YouTube, commission-free investing apps, a global marketplace to sell skills and products. The only thing standing between you and financial freedom is the decision to stop working for money and start making money work for you. I'm Mono. This is Mono Invest. If this video helped you even a little bit, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you never miss a video. Because we're just getting started.